everybody, it's Rick Orlando. I'm cooking here while we're all in stay-at-home order, and I'm trying to take care of you and show you some simple, affordable, and delicious things to make. And today I'm making a vegan black bean soup. Super easy, but with some serious Mexican technique to lend a lot of flavor. So come on over here, Jean-Luc. This is a pound of black bean, and I put in a couple of bay leaves. Never add salt to dry beans. It keeps them from getting tender. Now I'm cooking the beans. I cooked them at very, very high heat for about 15 minutes and turned them off and let them cool. Then I brought them up to a slow simmer. These are simmered about 45 minutes, and if you see, they break when you squish them. They're not really chalky. Chalky beans are not good. Mushy beans are not good. Mushy's better for soup, actually. So these are just about there, which is perfect. We're not going to salt the liquid. When you would salt your beans is after they're cooked. Cooking tip number one, don't take the beans out of the cooking liquid. Store them in the cooking liquid. If you take them out of the cooking liquid, what happens? They begin to revert to being dry beans and they get starchy, which makes you fart, and we don't want that. Okay? Great. Okay, so now we're going to make the flavor base for our black bean soup. And the way we're going to do this, in Mexico they use what's called a comal, which is like a stone or cast iron griddle where they can cook onions and garlic and things really slowly and get them really tenderized and build the flavors. But we're going to do it in our oven on a sheet pan because we have an oven and a sheet pan. So what I have, we're going to take some onion, regular white onion, don't need anything fancy, and some garlic. These are, I'm going to put a fair amount, like about 4 or 5 cloves, but a couple of these are a little big, so I'm going to cut them in a couple of chunks. But you want chunky pieces. If the garlic's too small, it's going to burn up as we roast it. I'm going to put a little salt in here, a couple pinches. Cumin. This is ground cumin. You don't have to pre-roast it because, duh, we're going to roast it now. Okay? I've got some beautiful oregano. This is Mexican oregano. You can use regular oregano, you can use Greek oregano, but the oregano is a nice flavor profile in here and pretty traditional. We have a couple of dried chipotle chilies. If you don't have these, you can add some chili powder, some smoked paprika, or you can even use the ones in the can, but I like to use the dry ones. I'm going to cut them into a couple of chunks. I actually dried these myself, but everybody knows that a chipotle is a red ripe jalapeno that's been smoked, and that's why they're so damn good. All right, so now that we have our stuff here, we're going to add a little oil, a little olive oil, and we're going to coat this. It doesn't have to be olive oil, it could be vegetable oil, but I happen to have olive oil in the squirt bottle. So now it's all coated, right? So we're going to take the juice of about a quarter of an orange, get a little perfume in there. And then the last thing we're going to do is I got a small can of plum tomatoes. If you look here, I separated the tomatoes from the juice. I'm going to take these tomatoes and just cut them in half, just like this. Put them right in here with the oil and all the vegetables. And we're going to roast these. And we're going to take the rest of the liquid and we're going to put it right into the beans that are cooking. So this now, we're going to give it a good coat, toss it up, and then we're going to spread it out on our sheet pan so it's kind of evenly spread. And we're going to put it in a 425 to 450 degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until it gets golden, toasty around the edges. The tomatoes get a little caramelized and nice and roasted. All right, so 20 to 25 minutes in the oven. You see how all of this tomato, onion, garlic, oregano, cumin, and chipotle chili is nice and roasty, toasty. We don't want to get black stuff. We want to get some of this good caramelization here. I'm going to scrape it up a bit. Choky. And we're going to put it in the, I got a spoon somewhere, right? Yeah. We're going to put it in the blender. If you don't have a blender, you can use a food processor, but a blender is good. And if you have a Vitamix, you're a pro, and you can really rock it. This is a hot pan, so let's do this. And what we're going to do with this is all that good stuff. This is our flavor. We're going to put this in the blender with some of our black beans. It's going to give you great consistency here. Here you go, Lizzie Corrado. I'm taking the black beans and some of the cooking liquid. If you remember, I put that little bit of juice from the tomatoes in there. All right, so now I'm taking this bay leaf out. Let's put this right here. And always start on low speed because you don't want it going to the ceiling. puree here. We pureed all of our flavor profile into the beans and then back into the pot. It's all gonna go. You can let this cook for 5 or 10 or even 15 more minutes, or you can literally pretty much eat it as we go. Let's get all the good stuff in there. That's all your flavor. Take a look at that. So what we made in there was the most delicious refried black beans ever. Now we're working them together. And this is our consistency. It's thickened, but there's still some bean in it. Let's bring it on over, and I'll show you how we're gonna plate this up. All right, so we got these really cool handmade bowls. Gonna make the soup look pretty. Okay, quick wipe. Now what we wanna do is when I take them out, I put a little squeeze of orange on it because we wanna add some acid, a little fresh cilantro, right from the beginnings of the garden, so it's kind of little. These are pickled jalapenos. Obviously you can buy these. I made these last year. I want a couple of these, but what I really want is a little bit of that jalapeno vinegar. And then for extra added texture, take some nice non-GMO tortilla chips, crumble them, put it on top. That's the vegan version. If you're not vegan, a little Bulgarian sheep's milk feta. Get a close-up of that, my friend. That is some awesome black bean soup. Took about an hour to cook the beans. Everything else took about 20 minutes. I'm Rick Orlando. Thanks for joining me on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Go to my website. There's more recipes in print, but subscribe to this channel because the oven's gonna beep when I'm talking. But other than that, have a great day.